right, welcome to the show. Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Another hand clap to you today. We have I have to tell you, very interesting day today. I gotta give you some real talk today. We're going to talk about what's going on in the market because it looks very, very good. Everybody's happy. Bitcoin is 80. We're back to where we were in May. I don't think we're going to go back to July. Which my floor is 50K. But I got to talk about what's going on. We have to discuss, what's really happening here. And I want to give you some real talk about this because there's a lot of fluff that's behind this pump. All right. It's really not substantially, solid, if you will. And I'm going to go through a lot of points and we'll get there. Right. But there are some bright spots. We'll look at the market. I like what's going on with a lot of the layer ones, right? Because a lot of these layer ones are going to be intrinsic. They're going to be in touch with RWAs. They're going to be facilitating a lot of movements going forward, but we got to get past a lot of hurdles, and we'll get into why this, Bitcoin is pumping. Because if you look at the alts, nothing substantial is really going on with the altcoins that should be pushing them up into this level. The only thing is the tether, and the tether is ETH and Bitcoin, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But in general, we're going to get into some news too as well. We're going to look at a couple of video clips too as well, because the crypto language, the Clarity Act, that's our main catalyst. That's what we need. That's the only solid catalyst that we have to, get us over 80K. What's going on with Basin, and we'll get into it. What happened with the Treasury bond, this commitment to over $4 billion worth of buybacks, and then Trump's, crypto legislation push as well. He had a lot of blockchain devs behind him during this speech. So that was bullish. That pushed this market up profusely. But is it sustainable? This is what we're going to talk about. Let's go ahead and get into it. So as we push into the report, I want to go ahead and just get a broad view on what's going on because it's a little deceptive. You're looking at a fear and greed that we hadn't seen it this high in a while, maybe over a year. I haven't seen it in the actual 80 mark, right? Because it's been pretty bearish lately, but we did have enormous ETF inflow that flooded the market. Very, very high levels of ETF inflow, and BlackRock obviously pushing a lot of the notion as well over $2 billion. In fact, we'll go ahead and switch to this one right here, because this is what really, this is the main vehicle. This is what's doing it. We're talking about $2 billion within 6 days. Now, I want to tell you how significant this really is. When you have this much money coming into the market, it's very significant. It's going to move the needle. It's going to push Bitcoin very, 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 very swiftly. And this is what these ETFs have done to not only Bitcoin, but ETH. And by the way, you have to understand XRP has, I think, 6 spot ETFs. They're smoldering. They're going to be moving the XRP pretty swiftly as well, going into the next 5 years. But this is what an ETF vehicle can do. Now, you take this away from Bitcoin, you're not getting this type of movement. You're not going to get this type of movement. But this is $2 billion worth of ETF of Bitcoin buyership within 6 days. Okay, $100 billion. Yeah, okay, this was crazy, and I'm talking assets under management. This is a crazy vehicle that Bitcoin has. Now, this can actually go the other direction, which I believe it will once everything simmers down, because there's no substantive factors here when it comes to the current push in Bitcoin and Ethereum. Not a lot of substance, a lot of hope, and a lot of what we got from the Treasury Department that really has nothing to do with crypto. Now, when you look at the stock market, you look at tech, gold is actually correlating a whole lot more. Bitcoin is running with gold right now. If you look at the tech, especially with the announcement that came out with OpenAI bringing out their own chip, Nvidia's in trouble. So you're going to see a backslide in the market, especially within the NASDAQ going into the next probably 30 days, right? Depending on how good that chip is with OpenAI, that you may see some of that rotate into Bitcoin. So that is bullish. That's what I'm seeing coming in the next 30 days. If OpenAI's chip actually performs, a lot of people are going to dump Nvidia, and then they're going to get into this vehicle, right, or this ETF vehicle, and then they're going to go into Bitcoin, ETH, probably a little gold as well. And depending on how this buyback goes and what happens in Japan, what happens geopolitically, which doesn't look very good, yeah, you could probably see a $93,000 Bitcoin by Christmas, but there's this underlying factor of retail, real world activity, where we have a disturbed credit market that's about to pop. So if you box yourself in and you're just looking at the greed factor and you're looking at these green charts, you're thinking, oh, the bull season is coming. But I have to tell you, I got to put a little water on that flame. We're nowhere near a bull season because this pump is just, there's not enough substance to substantiate that type of movement. But the ETF inflow is crazy and it is very bullish. We're talking over 337 million that was added, all right? Big time, and 2.7 billion within the turnover within the triple rate. And this is all BlackRock. Now there are other vehicles that are contributing to this, but the BlackRock thing is massive, all right? And you can just look at this chart here. And we're talking about just in August, 2.72 billion. The last time we even got close to 3 billion was October 2025. So this was a significant pump. This is what happened, all right? This pump had nothing to do with blockchain development or any type of updates. Now I will say Solana is updating. They have the Alpha 2.2, I believe. They're doing some great things with that chain, updating consensus, things of that nature. We did see that. But barring that, and you had some monad upgrades as well. Robinhood chain, TVO is exploding. Okay. Of course, there's some, micro metrics there. There's some underlying factors that are rare when you see these type of pumps. When it comes to development, when it comes to upgrading, but you do see that, but that is rare. That's very minuscule. A lot of what you're seeing now when it comes in, we'll pivot back to the actual crypto market, just so I can get back to Bitcoin. A lot of what you're seeing here is all ETFs, and what actually happened here. Let's go ahead and talk about it, because what you're seeing is a $79,000 crest. Now we did get up to 81. Was not sustainable, right? We're up almost 25% within the 7-day period with Bitcoin. ETH as well, 30%, right? Within a weekly value, got up to $2,500. That is pulling up a lot of the alts as well, because a lot of those altcoins, those blockchain infrastructures, especially the L2s and the DApps, they're tailored to Ethereum. So when Ethereum moves, they're going to move slightly up as well. Ethereum goes up 6 or 10%. A lot of the alts that are tethered within the Ethereum ecosystem, that are binded to ETH, they're going to move as well in the single digits. They're going to move up regardless of what they're doing. They're just going to move up. Bitcoin moves the entire market. Bitcoin is up over 25% within the 7-day period. So of course, you're going to have these altcoins moving up double digits because you have the top 2, which most of the top 25 are tethered to ETH. They're going to move up. So if you bought 3 months ago, you bought those dips, you made a little money. A lot of you made a lot of money. My portfolio is looking great because I bought 3, 4, 5 months ago. I bought the dips. A lot of people don't invest in that manner. A lot of people are buying the top right now, and that is very bad for you. You should not be buying the top right now. I was looking at the RS score. I'm looking at a lot of on-chain data right now, and there are so many people that are FOMOing in right now, which is ridiculous to me. This is not the way to invest because this is not sustainable. You want to be buying when the red is near, when you're seeing all this blood. That's when you buy. 3 months ago, that's when you should have bought these coins, because you would have been cashing out right now. You would have been actually making profit because of this pump. But unfortunately, human nature kicks in. You see the FOMO, you see the headlines, you see the influencers saying bull run, and then that's when you buy because you want to catch this FOMO. You want to catch the rate. It's too late because it's already cresting. It's already hit $81,000. Okay. So, and there's no sustainable method here for it to go to 90K. Not right now. The catalyst is still in limbo. We're talking about the Clarity Act. We'll get into that in a minute. But you have to understand the catalyst is in limbo at this point in time. What we're seeing here is not a bona fide catalyst. It was triggered by the United States Treasury and Trump with the crypto narrative last week. This is what this was triggered on. The institutions are running into this because they see low-key QE coming. But that is not the case, because if Basin gets his way, and we'll get into the catalyst here, it's just going to cause massive inflation. And then the Fed is going to be forced to raise the rates. And then that's when you're going to see this completely collapse. But if you bought 3 months ago, you should be taking profit because you're looking good. If you bought these same coins that we're looking at, not even Bitcoin, right? if you bought these particular ones right here, now I'm gonna name some out. You have BNB up 15% weekly, XRP up almost 50 freaking percent. Okay. All right. This thing was below $1 just 30 days ago. If you bought it, you're taking profit right now. Obviously, some of you are. Solana, it was $58. What, just over a month and a half ago? It hit $100 the other day, up 30% within a 7-day period. Okay. Just because of what you're seeing with this Basin situation and what the government is going to do with these bonds, that triggered massive FOMO. Okay. You would have cashed out some cash if you would have bought Solana at $58, but a lot of you are buying it now. Not a great time to buy Solana. Even Tron is posting gains. Hyperliquid. This thing was at $40, it's up 50%. Okay. If you bought it 2-3 months ago, you bought it at $40, you made a lot of money because you bought it at the right time. Buying it now is a mistake. And I'm seeing this on chain. I'm like, this is nuts. But it is what it is, right? This is people get wrapped up into the FOMO, into the hype. Now is not the time to buy altcoins. I have to tell you. Dogecoin up 30%, right? Zcash is killing it. Now a lot of people are saying Zcash is going to get back up to its all-time high, which is well over $2,000. I don't think it's going to get there pretty quick, but I will say this thing crashed all the way down to $200 because of the fractured dev team. Now everything is coming back to fruition. They even updated this thing. It's fully updated. They fixed the patch. They had a little issue with minting, right? We had that particular exploit. And a lot of people sold Zcash after Arthur, I think it was Arthur Hayes in his post recently, which don't believe what that guy says. Look at it now. If you would have bought it at $200, I think a couple of months ago, in the red, when you're supposed to buy these legitimate platforms, you would be laughing all the way to the bank right now. And there's some substance with this pump, with Zcash. It's one of the outliers that actually has substance. They upgraded this thing and they actually passed the exploit. This thing is ready to go. Okay. It's going to hit $900. I believe it'll hit it before the fourth quarter ends. This is how you invest. You invest in the red, not now. You don't invest when these things are up over 40% within a 7-day period. You missed out on that train. It's time to wait on the dip. Okay. So Chainlink up 20, it's up over, it's back to $12 again, right? Chainlink was at $9, I think it was at the bottom, $7.50 just a couple of months ago. No one was buying it. People were selling it. It's up 21%. Now, obviously we can't really, predict these things, but if you know, these are solidified situations and you know, they're at pretty close to all-time lows or just above. It's a great time to buy those. Not financial advice, but real investors understand what I'm talking about. You buy it then, and then you catch the win when it pumps. And this is what a lot of seasoned investors are doing right now. They are taking profit like crazy because they are in massive profit because they bought these situations when they were in the red. That's how you do it. You don't buy now. And I'm seeing a lot of really disturbing things on chain right now. A lot of people are going to lose a lot of money because they're buying these tops. Look at Cardano up at 21%. 23%. That thing was left for dead. You're making profit, so you're stellar. Yeah, I can keep going on with this. Canton up 33%, which is a great project. I was at 5 cents recently. Litecoin as well. I can go on and on with this, but if you would have caught these, you would have made money, right? Now is not the time. Too late. Don't get wrapped up into the hype. Just wait it. As you can see, the index is already fading. Okay. So when it comes to this, let's get into the actual factors as we go. No, I want to go to the actual RS because I want to show you guys something about this RS and the things that are actually turning around here as well. RSI is what I'm saying, what I'm referring to. So when we looked at this a week ago, it was in completely overbought territory because of the FOMO, because of everybody was the ETFs, everybody was seeing all that on-chain activity, trying to catch the ride up, right? A lot of that buyership is paralyzed right now, okay? Because they were completely overbought. Now you see a lot of paralytic actual activity on the RSI, kind of moving into the middle. We're getting really close to 50 score, okay? So a lot of that overbought activity is actually calming down. Everybody's holding now because they are overbought. They bought at the top. So it's like, okay, what do we do now? This thing is coming down. A lot of people, I'll give it a couple of days. We get really close to, let's say 70K, a lot of people are going to start dumping their coins and tokens that they bought at the top at losses. They're going to be dumping at losses, and you're going to see this thing go to oversold very, very quick. Right now, this is a paralyzed market once again at the top, which is not cool. Not cool, because they were led wrong into this, and they're FOMO'd into a situation that's going to allow them to have a red portfolio going into the fourth quarter. It's very unfortunate. But for those of you who have bought, and I reiterate this, for those of you who had bought 3 months ago, you are laughing all the way to the bank. If you are selling, if you are taking profits, a lot of people are going to hold, and you're going to be greedy, and then you're going to lose. Don't do that. Don't be that person. Okay. As we pivot to the TVL is still looking absolutely fabulous. Now, a lot of people are saying this is going to change, especially when we get past the language hurdle, we get Bonafide Clarity Act plugged into the Genius Act. This is going to change because a lot of DeFi is going to be converting into on-chain finance. I really need to get that video out to explain what I'm talking about, because a lot of you don't see this coming. But decentralized finance in its actual current state is not going to work. There's a lot of exploits that are happening right now. There's a lot of money that is being stolen on the back end. A lot of the AI audits are catching a lot of exploitative activities. And a lot of these actual devs, they don't want the AI audit because it's exposing their DApps. And they have massive holes. They're not going to be auditable. And if they do get audited, they're going to get shut down. So this new conversion that's going to take place. And the tag is on-chain finance. A lot of devs are already building these platforms. And it's just going to be very, very, very friendly to the CFTC and the SEC. This is where we're going. They want a friendly platform. They want to be able to audit. They want backdoors. They want the keys. They want to be able to, check on that AML, check on the KYC, check on you to make sure that the investor protection is implanted. This is compliance. This is what's coming. So the current state of DeFi is not conducive to that activity. A lot of it's closed loop, but the actual closed loop is encapsulating lots of exploitable activity. So a lot of this is going to have to be redone. It's going to have to convert, and it's going to have to transition into on-chain finance activities. And this is what's going to happen going into the next couple of years after language. So I think the TVO, it's not going to crash. I'm just saying it's going to morph into something that it's going to be quite different. And you'll see that. You'll see what I'm talking about in the coming years. I'm just giving you a little glimpse of what's going to happen here with DeFi. Because in its current state, it's not going to be able to function because it's too exploitable. I could show you a list of exploits that just happened within the last 2 weeks where millions of dollars have been lost because of these exploits. What's going on, LMFG? Oh, I didn't put the link up, brother. Let me get the link up so we can get you up here, man. The whole scope of DeFi is going to be completely different going into the next a couple of years. So, and you need to understand, what's going on so you can invest properly as well. I got that link up there, brother. Hey, CCP, what's going on, brother? Hope you're doing well. So that link is up there, LMFG. Let me pin it up top so you can jump in, brother. And there you go. That is going to be the stage link, just in case you guys want to. You can call in or you can use video. You can do whatever you want. If you want to, add to the show. It's up top pinned. And just let me know when you're back there, brother. So let's go ahead and move into what we have going on here, because I'm going to put the Bitcoin price back up again while I go into this, because this is the talk of the town, right? This is what everybody's really, really happy about. This consolidation well up under 80K, $79,000 up still tremendously. And this is all ETFs. But this is what caused this, because a lot of people weren't really laying this out. The key actual catalyst driver for this pump up to $81,000. It was your glorious U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent's announcement to at least double long-dated bond buybacks. Okay, we're talking about over $4 billion. All right, this is going to start on September the 9th. This was bullish. So a lot of people are taking this as a low-key QE, which is, I don't think it's going to be QE. This is going to inflate the dollar. So this revived the debasement trade as well, weakened the dollar narrative, and triggered a massive short squeeze. And that was around $5 billion in crypto shorts last week. This pushed Bitcoin up profusely, and all the alts FOMO'd in, okay, including ETH as well. The secondary catalyst for this pump, you have to understand this, was President Trump pushing the Clarity Act narrative once again, with a lot of blockchain devs behind him. There is an actual Senate procedural a vote that's actually set for September the 15th. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. I don't think it's going to happen, but we'll see how that goes. Can you hear me, brother? Oh, I think it says you're muted. Let me see here, brother.
Yeah, I hear you.
There you go. What is going on? Welcome to the show, man. Good to see you, brother. We're getting into this these catalysts. We're telling the truth, LMFG. We're telling the truth about this because there's not a lot of substance here. And I don't know how, short-lived this is going to be. But when you factor in, and I'll get your take on this again, I'm going to run these, basically these two catalysts here. When you factor in Scott Basin's announcement on doubling down on this bonds buyback, this is bullish for the stock market. Institutions love this. But the narrative is a twofold here. You have a dollar narrative that's going to be weakened because it's going to inflate the hell out of the dollar. We're talking $4 billion worth of buybacks here. Slated for September the 9th is going to be inaugural buyback moment. That triggered shorts, crazy shorts. You had some longs that were actually popped too as well. And then the crypto summit meeting with Brad Garlinghouse behind him. He had the Coinbase CEOs behind him that looked bullish. A lot of people love that particular narrative, that optic, right? So that pushed this market. That was the general catalyst. Nothing substantial, nothing blockchain related, nothing crypto related at all. This is just a treasury announcement about bonds that rotated a lot of ETFs that caused that ETF train to just run crazy. $2 billion worth within a 7-day period, right? And then obviously crypto summit, what you take, because that is essentially what we have here. This is all we have.
Yeah, and then he bounced it up to 4 billion buybacks now.
He did, yeah, in proportion, yeah. Which is, what do you think about that, bro? That's insane. That is insane.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't get it. And then all the monies that they're dumping it over to Japan.
Oh yeah, they don't want us to talk about that.
And that's just a black hole there. They put a few $1 billion in there and it disappeared in a couple hours, I think. Yeah,
did you see? They killed all the noise. The news networks were told to not touch that. We're not even getting any news on that anymore because that is a black hole. You're right. And you talk about dollar debasement. You talk about the inflationary factors of it. It just makes it even more. It's on fire. The dollar's on fire. It's on fire. So, and that's the main thing that is converted into crypto. This is the thing that people don't understand. The main actual vehicle, right, that is used to buy crypto is the dollar. Then you have the yen carry trade, which is wrapped up with that BOJ that you were talking about, the Japan thing. That thing is unwinding, although very slowly because of the intervention. It eventually is going to blow up. Okay. So that liquidity vehicle is that's going to be a reverse tornado effect. It's where a lot of money is going to be sucked out of the market because nobody's going to want to take that loss, right? That was the mother of all arbitrage that's about to be completely, destroyed. People going to want to reverse their position. So, this is beautiful. By the way, Bitcoin is correcting. It's down at 78. I think we're going to see a 72,000 Bitcoin in a couple of days because I don't know how long this air is going to stay in this balloon, brother. I really don't. It looks beautiful, but you can see everybody. I looked at the RSI earlier. You can see everybody's kind of figuring it out. You can see Bitcoin is slightly correcting at this point in time. By the end of the day, we're probably going to see 75,000 unless we get some more BS from Basin and Trump. Because the same thing they've been doing to the oil market, they're doing to crypto right now. The same fucking thing. They're manipulating this situation because they know they're heavily invested. Michael Saylor has been calling for this for the past, 4 weeks. Please help me. So he's back chirping. I see he's back tweeting now because he has these, $4 billion worth of unrealized profits within the last couple of days. So he's happy. And then everybody's FOMOing in. And the true catalyst is the United States government with the bonds buyback and Trump's crypto, speech the other day. That's all we have, bro. I don't know. Talk me off the cliff because I see a lot of people about to lose some money, man.
And strategy, I think it was yesterday or the day before, they just did a big raise.
Yeah,
20 billion or something. They got like 6 billion in USD now. Mm-hmm. But he's going to start buying again when it hits around 90.
Yeah, the Ponzi continues, right? The Ponzi continues. Oh man, I don't know. So this is what we're dealing with now. I want to give you some on-chain signals to watch, right? You have the crypto coin bull score is around 80, which is not good. All right. Spot demand is improving, but here's the thing. Here's these metrics that are red flag metrics for me. The actual Bitcoin network transactions still remain near multi-year lows, guys. So you have to understand, this is fictitious. This is money moving the market. This is not metrics. This is not core, factors that are moving the market. Core fundamentals are not moving the market. This is just money. Okay. Massive inflows from the ETF vehicles. This is not substantive. This is not sustainable. So when you're factoring in how many people are buying this top, it's just dreadful to me. It's so deceptive, brother, because I'm looking at on-chain activity this morning before the show, and I'm seeing so many people, thousands of dollars buying the top. And I'm not just talking about Bitcoin. I'm talking about ETH, Solana, so many people buying the top right now. So when this thing corrects, when it goes down another notch, let's say another, 1K, a lot of people are going to shit their pants. And then when it hits 75, massive losses across the board. Okay. Now the guy, like I was saying earlier, the people who bought 3 months ago, they're laughing all the way to the bank. You bought Solana at $58 a couple of months ago, you're laughing all the way to the bank. Chainlink at $7, you're laughing all the way to the bank. XRP at 99 cents or 89 cents, you're good. That thing almost at $2. But you have to be in proper position. You can't follow the lemming train and buy at the top like this. I hate seeing this, bro, but this is redundant. It's a redundant thing. There are a number of investors, a large number of investors that just don't know how to invest in crypto. They follow the wrong influencers and content creators. They follow I'm going to tell you right now, Jim Cramer has actually been on the money with Bitcoin. He sold his whole bag. What was it? 5 months ago, I believe, and he was in profit. So he says it. But then there have some analysts that were absolutely wrong about it. They called, $42,000 floor 6 months ago. Obviously, we're not there. Mine is 50. Obviously, we're not there. But of course, we're not, because we have these ETF vehicles and BlackRock funneling in $2 billion within a 6-day period. We're not going to hit 50K like that. And I think this is orchestrated to keep this up to a fictitious level. I mean, talk me off the fence, bro. I don't know.
Yeah, well, and again, we're going to have to see on September 15th. And if that doesn't get passed, I believe it's going to really bring a flood in, because they're not playing around. The SEC, the CFTC is building a document. And then the OCC, they said they're wide open. And I think it was Ondo just put in paperwork with them. Yeah,
I saw that, yeah.
It's not there yet, but they're going in as chartered banks, just like Ripple and Circle. And so I think you're going to see a flood of that.
Yeah.
And the Congress, what are they going to do? Now they're going to have to rewrite this whole damn thing.
Yeah.
You are, and no matter what happens, there's going to be so many lawsuits over this shit.
You betcha. Yeah.
I was talking to my buddy last night. I said, man, you tell any of the young whippersnapper lawyers out there, you tell them to start learning blockchain, DeFi, Texas and sexes,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because it's going to, and that's an easy job, if you ask me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You know,
working with criminals and, going up against all of this crazy stuff. It's all about the money.
It is. There's a lot of money too in this space. This is why I hated about this hijacking of Bitcoin. I knew it. It's so easy for them to manipulate this shit. Lots of money. Here's the thing. We need at least $83,000. Okay. And we're talking 365-day MA. We need at least 83,000 for this to even push up to 85. We can barely maintain 80K because it's not a substantial situation. It's not legit. And it's a lot of old money, LMFG, because if you look at the actual global market cap, we're still at 2. All right. We're just under 3 trillion. If this was actual new money, a legit situation, we would already be over 4, pushing 5 trillion right now. That's new money. That's what new money looks like. If new money actually floods the market, which would be bullish and very sustainable, you would see this global market cap well over 3 trillion, going into the 4 trillion mark, pushing 5 trillion. That's what new money looks like. We're still at 2. This is old money. It's just coming back. You know what I'm saying? And these ETFs make it very easy for them to do this, because a lot of the ETF movement is really not retail, bro. It's just a lot of billionaires, man. A lot of institutions and hedges and shit like that. that are coming into this. BlackRock's buddies is what I like to call it, you know. So this is what's really, really hard for me to look. It's hard for me to look at an on-chain activity like this because a lot of these people are just FOMOing the lemming train, right? So when you look at the deceptive side of it, check this out. We're still talking about Bitcoin. We're about to move into the Clarity Act because I think that's the only bona fide catalyst we have is the Clarity Act. Once that gets plugged in to the Genius Act, I think then you get the new money. Then you get that real money coming in, not the bullshit that we see now that's just fluffing Bitcoin, you know, providing great optics. Okay, because if we really get a true picture of this, we really should be at around 65, really close to 60. Okay, that would scare the crap out of everything. That would not be good for BlackRock. That would not be good for Michael Saylor, right? So there's a lot of institutional money that's keeping this up to where the optics are favorable for these heavy players that are knee deep, way too deep into this situation, LMFG. You have heavy resilience on the short squeezes that caused this as well. Big time short squeeze, billions of dollars lost, right? That was not organic spot buying at all. Okay, it was induced, squeezed heavily. Okay, network activity, I told you guys about this, multi-year lows when it comes to Bitcoin network activity. If this was true, we would have a network activity that would be boasted. It would be posted all over X. You know, the Bitcoiners would be so proud of that. It's not happening. That's why. Multi-year lows when it comes to network activity. So what are we looking at? If we have still low activity on the network, what the hell is this? Okay. So extreme greed, you have overbought situations. We looked at the RSIs, paralyzed again at the top, which is crazy. You already know that cliff is coming. Okay. These are really, really red flags and the deceptive factors that no one's paying attention to because they're only looking at 79,000 LMFG. They're looking at the snapshot of 81K, which we needed to get well above that. And I don't think it's going to happen this year because we're going into the fourth quarter that's going to be very bloody. You know, what's your take on what I just said, brother? Again, I'm teetering on the cliff here.
Yeah, and then I guess you saw a lot went into gold. And that's
yeah, absolutely.
And like I don't know. Like I said, this is going to be huge on the 15th. You know,
it is. Yeah,
they might even come up and say they're not going to vote on it. I don't know if they can.
But they got a 70% chance that's factored in. You know, but again, that's prediction markets. I don't really go by that. That doesn't mean anything to me. But you know. It's a fucking prediction market, you know? Come on.
These are politicians, man. And you know damn well Diamond and Fink and the lobbyists, they're all over these guys right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I guarantee you. So we'll see. And I'm telling you, if they don't vote on it or if they vote and it fails, expect Loomis. I expect her to drop some F-bombs, drop names, and she's going to go off. You know, she's out of there in January, so.
Listen, you know, before we move to the Clarity Act, because I feel so bad for her, man. She's so tired. We're gonna look at the video, and then we'll look at Coinbase CEO too as well, Brian Armstrong. He's very bullish about it, but of course they have to. He's got stock to protect. You know what I'm saying? If it doesn't go well, Coinbase stock is gonna slide hard if they don't get this Clarity Act. Because he's been spearheading this along with Loomis. Loomis has nothing to lose, really. I could be wrong, but I think she's put so much in this, man. She's disappointed. You can just see it in her face. We'll look at this video in a minute because she pretty much laid out why this is not going to happen. And the look on her face speaks volumes to me. Practical takeaways before we move into that. How to distinguish organic demand from a squeeze or FOMO situation. You got to have risk management. Anything that's moving over 25% within a 7-day period, stay away from it. This to me is basic knowledge. Everybody should know this. What we're seeing here, stay away. It's too late. These alts are well over 30% within the 7-day period, and there's nothing substantive about these particular alts to cause them to move. The only thing is the actual inflow, and I already told you, the inflow was based on what Trump said last week in Basin's attempts to save the bond market and prevent it from imploding. That was bullish for institutions. They ran into the ETF vehicle and everybody's going behind them. That's it. There's no upgrades for ETH. Solana's upgrading. You know, there's some outliers here. You know, Robinhood chain is exploding. Did you get a load of that TVL? crazy TVL.
Yeah, I was a little skeptical with the index, and then because I was watching the website, there was like 26 holders,
right.
2,600 holders, and it went down to 2,000.
Yeah.
So I did grab like a little bit at like 15,000 of them at like 0.005. That's way up, and then like you said, I got 18 stocks. It's pennies, you know what I mean? I'm just playing and checking it out.
Do you like the mechanics? Yeah. Do you love those tokenomics? I love the tokenomics with index.
Yeah. There's only a billion of them.
Yeah, man. I think. Oh yeah. That's what I was telling you guys. You might want to take a look at this, right? I think it got under it registered 2 zeros, and then now it went up to 2 cents. So and this project, this is a project we've been talking about internally with me and the guys. But it's a Robinhood product, you know what I'm saying? And Robinhood chain is, but again, I'm talking about those sectors, those rare situations that we have here within this particular situation that are actually doing good because there's substantive issues going on there. It's legitimate. The Robinhood chain is legitimate. It should be doing what it's doing. That TVL is almost $1 billion in a very short time because of a legitimate factor. And there's funding there. There's lots of backing, and there's legitimate development there. And then the index, which is tethered to that token is crazy. It's crazy what's going on there. And then there's that connection with tokenized assets to tokenized commodities that we all talked about. They're taking advantage of that early. It's a very early mover. And it's pretty interesting what's going on there. Very interesting. So just to wrap this up, because we've got to get into the Clarity Act, because that is the only bona fide catalyst that we have. Okay. You got to practice risk management in this going into the fourth quarter, guys. Again, if you see anything that's moving 25% up within the 7-day period, avoid it. You missed the train. You're too late. Don't do what these people are doing right now, what I'm seeing on chain. Don't be those people. On-chain metrics, monitor ETF inflows, exchange net flows, realized profits, and for God's sakes, monitor Bitcoin's actual core activities. Those metrics matter, because if those metrics are still at an all-time low, you already know this is manipulation because it's not really real. We want Bitcoin to be producing this on its own, but it's been hijacked. So of course you have money moving Bitcoin right now, large amounts of money. Okay. So this is what you're seeing here. And it's very easy to manipulate the entire cryptocurrency space. It's kind of like stocks. When Nvidia has basically put a lot of air into the NASDAQ, if you guys understand what I'm talking about, that whole tech sector is moving stock market. Essentially, it is moving the entire stock market. When you see what OpenAI did, they came out with a chip LMFG. They have their own chip. And this chip is supposed to run circles around NVIDIA's chip. This is what the testing is showing. If that comes to fruition, and if they actually have that going for them, NVIDIA is done. And they're not going to go away. But I got to tell you, that stock is going to take a dive. We're already seeing it take a dive. Welcome to the show, Mom. I hope you're doing great today. You have to understand that is significant. So that one player right there, if OpenAI can pull that off, they're going to give NVIDIA a run for their money. Okay. And that's going to equalize the entire NASDAQ situation. And that's going to equalize the stock market as well, because tech is running stocks right now. Same thing with the cryptocurrency space. Bitcoin is the grandfather of the space. You have large amounts of money that have hijacked this situation, and the movement has nothing to do with core fundamentals. The metrics are still at an all-time low. So I'll digress from that, because a lot of people was like, what is he talking about? I just want to make some money. I get it, but don't screw around with this right now, because you're just going to lose. You know, you should have bought 3 months ago, but I digress from that. I'm not going to get into that. LMFG, this is just like one-on-one, investing one-on-one. You don't want to get involved right now. You know, I mean,
fear and greed at 80, stay away.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
It's really that simple, basic to me. That's what I tell all my
family
friends.
It is. So, you know, the Clarity Act is the only bona fide catalyst here. And I want to get to what Miss Loomis has said, because she is not bullish at all. Not at all. Kind of sad too, man. I was looking forward to it, and she's been spearheading this LMFG, and we've been talking about this. Senator Warren, she's all over World Liberty Finance. By the way, Justin Sun's lawsuit is about to go through. They've approved it. He's going to be able to actually sue and World Liberty Finance. And this is going to be a significant development, bro, that's smoldering right now with this lawsuit. And it's going to set a precedence. We may get into that here in a little bit too, because I think this is going to hurt World Liberty Finance. It's going to hurt the Trumps because they froze his wallet, and they're allowing this case to go through. So if he wins this case, it's going to set a precedence across the board when it comes to developers freezing wallets, the whole practice of actually freezing out people out of their investment. We've known this to be the case in crypto for years. Okay. This could be a very significant development. And I don't know how much he's going to sue the Trumps for what they did, but I digress. We may get into that here in a little bit. But the senator right here, the senator, you see her face. She's very, very bearish about the Clarity Act. She's been spearheading this for a while. And this is her thoughts on it. She is not happy.
The banks want changes to the Genius Act, which was the stablecoin bill that passed last summer. They want the changes in the Clarity Act. And so they've been working hard on the Republican side of the aisle to scuttle our bill until they get what they want. Now, Senator Tillis on our side and Senator also Brooks, whose praises I wish to sing. She is a legislator's legislator. They came up with a compromise with the banks, with their lobbyists. The banks later fired their lobbyists and now want a do-over because they didn't get everything they wanted.
So this is where we're at, LMFG. And Tim Scott, the smirk on his face speaks volumes to me when she mentioned the banks. And this guy's been saying, oh, everything is good. The senator out of South Carolina, we got it, guys. Everything is good. He's always tweeting, it's coming, it's coming. Blumenthal, it's coming, it's coming. It's not here. And I think she's fed up, and I don't think she was supposed to say that on this stage. But this lady is done. She is so fed up with it. What's your take on what she said? We've been talking about the banks and then the Sheriff's Association. They don't even know how to police the situation because they've been left out the loop. Credit unions, every credit union in America has banded together to stop this as well because it's a stablecoin situation. So this is dead in the water, bro. Talk me off the cliff again. I think it's dead in the water.
Yeah, and possibly not because of the SEC, CFTC, and the OCC of opening up the gates. And they're going to come out with that. I don't know if you read through that document, 402-page document. So that's a lot of that's going to piss off the banks. It's going to Elizabeth Warren, and it's so funny. We're not hearing nothing from her right now. Right? She's always out there blabbing away, and now we're not hearing nothing. So I don't know, dude. I really don't. It forces them to, and now he put closure on it, and they said 2:00 on the 15th. That's when they're going to vote on it.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, September 11th.
Either way now, because of those documents and the SEC and CFTC, I think we're going to see a positive come in.
Yeah.
What? We'll see. I mean, I like to be optimistic, me.
I looked at it both ways. I really want this. I want this, bro. It plugs right into the Genius Act. But then, you remember when I was telling you guys about all those amendments, over 100 that came in for the Genius Act? This is months ago. This is what she's talking about. And it's the banking committee. They're like, you know what? She said they fired all their lobbyists. That was fucking hilarious because they didn't get, and that was the funniest part about it, and it's like, we need to do this over. Our lobbyists, they were morons. Let's do it over. So, it's all about the stablecoin situation, man. I get it, bro. I was looking at MetaMask the other day. They have the stablecoin in the MetaMask wallet. They're giving out 7% yield on that stablecoin. The banks can't not fucking compete with that. I'm sorry. No bank on earth is going to compete with a 7% APY on a fucking stablecoin that's tethered to the dollar. What bank is going to compete with that? What credit union is going to compete with that? So I get it. And we're talking MetaMask. You know what I'm saying? A self-custody. You're talking about self-custody APY in your hands. I mean, no bank can compete with that, brother. So I get it. I know they're scared. If I was a bank, I would be scared too, because who in their right mind is going to stick with their bank when they can move their money into a freaking custodial wallet and get 7% yield? There's no high yield situation in the real world that's giving you 7%, bro. I could be, let me know if I'm wrong, but you're not getting 7% from any Roth or no high yield situation. I could be wrong. Let me know, brother.
Nothing that I know of. And what's the beauty about that, other ones are going to have to follow suit.
Yeah, exactly.
Coinbase is going to have to come up, Robinhood, everybody's going to start coming up with it.
Yeah, and this is why, Congress is like, when the SEC came in, you mentioned this, when the SEC came in and said, hey, we're going to, we don't care what they do. We're going to institute some rules. Okay. Congress does not want that because the SEC and the CFTC, they're not going to touch the stablecoin yield situation. They don't give a damn about that. They're worried about AML, investor protection. They're worried about safe harbor laws.
Right.
They're not worried about stablecoins. This is why they're like, holy shit, we didn't know they were going to do this. We need to get our shit together. Because if we don't get this past September, it's a wrap. Once the SEC puts the rules in, it's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of, I know a lot of blockchain devs want the SEC to do what they want to do because you get the safe harbor. You get basically a get out of jail free card for a lot of bad devs. This is the way I see safe harbor. But you do get a blockchain test that'll allow a lot of these ancillary tokens to cross over into commodity shit, which is great because a lot of them need that. Shiba Inu actually already crossed that bridge, which is weird, but they already crossed the bridge. It is what it is. But I don't think Congress wants the SEC to move in and do that. I don't think they want that smoke because it'd be irrelevant what they do after the fact. You see where I'm headed? What they're going to do is irrelevant if the SEC imposes rules. Welcome to the show, Olivia. Welcome back to it as well. I got to put you on the wheel too. But yeah, bro, let me know what you think about this because I think the Clarity Act would be completely irrelevant if they fail in September and the SEC and the CFTC imposes the rules, which we'll look at those rules here in a minute. The Clarity Act is irrelevant after that.
Yeah, and then there you go. Like Hoskinson said, 2030.
Yeah, and I would argue midterms. I got to ask you this question too before we move on into Brian Armstrong's comments on the situation. If the midterms go as we think they may go, right? Some say it's a 50-50 thing. You think the Dems are going to actually put this on the front burner? I don't think so. I don't think the Democrats are going to give a damn about this. In fact, they're probably going to roll back a lot of this shit. And they're probably going to, I think they're going to roll back some shit too as well. But I don't think they're going to put crypto on the front burner as Trump has, as the Republicans have. I mean, what's your take? I could be wrong. Maybe they'll take advantage of this and try to get that crypto vote going into the next election season. What's your take? It's interesting.
Yeah, then all of a sudden they say, oh yeah, we're pro this. We're pro crypto. And see Warren change her tune.
Yeah, she did. Well, she's all over Trump with this World Liberty Finance and with the Justin Sun situation. I think it adds fuel to that fire because this is, if he wins that lawsuit, bro, this is going to change the game when it comes to the developers freezing wallets and shit. It's going to change the whole game. They're going to owe him a lot of money because his bag has lost all the value.
Wasn't that like $80 million?
It was a lot. Yeah, it was. I think it was over 100 million, bro. No, I think it was over 100 million. Yeah.
How do you put a number on that? I'll tell you right now, if they're going to lose that case, they'll know it beforehand and they'll settle. They'll settle out of court.
Yeah.
They'll have to.
You think so?
Yeah. Come on, man. Unless there's some way they know they're going to win it.
Now, I got to find Brian Armstrong. Here's Brian here. This September is his take 15th. On it. And, Brian has been bullish the whole time on this Clarity Act situation. I don't think he said, he really went off on the banks. Obviously, he doesn't like the banking committee. We don't hear too much from Gruwal. We've seen him behind Trump during the speech recently. In Brad Garlinghouse, everybody was so happy to see Brad behind Trump during the crypto summit. Everybody went to, you should have seen the on-chain activity. Everybody bought, they was like buying the shit out of XRP, pushed it up to $2 just because of the optics. This is how sensitive the market is right now. Optics run charts, essentially, not bona fide, substantial, blockchain metrics. Optics. Just what people are seeing makes them buy coins and tokens. It's a very sensitive situation that you have. So if you're a smart investor, you understand the mind share. You understand how this works. So you just follow the mind share. You follow social media, and you make a lot of money just by going by mind share and by how people react to optics. That was very bullish for XRP. Now, mind you, XRP has 6 spot ETFs, LMFG. 6 spot ETFs that are active, that are ready to blow at any given time. And it's still considered undervalued. I'm gonna pull back from that because that's a whole nother discussion. XRP, you know, I don't want to get everybody revved up about that, but it could completely explode because it's already positioned. You have all those ETFs, spot ETFs ready to go. You have the bullish nature of the Clarity Act that's going to pull that up along with the tether with RLUSD, but I digress from that. That's a whole nother video. Let's get a load of Mr. Brian Armstrong. This is his take.
Now it's really good that we have a deadline, September 15th, and I've got to give credit to Leader Thune, who scheduled that. There's a lot of competition for that floor time. There's a lot of competing interests. He would not have scheduled this on September 15th if he didn't think it would pass.
If you were to handicap it at this point.
Man, that's a very confident statement, LMFG. He's basically saying we're getting it. And he's been this bullish the whole entire time. The entire time. I can't say that he's deviated from this. He's been supremely bullish, even when they pull back. You remember when they pulled back from it when the banks came with their first renegement of the official deal? This guy was really pissed off. He was visibly pissed off about it, but he's remained extremely bullish about the outcome. I have to give him that.
Point, you say it's a winning vote at this point?
I'm pretty optimistic it'll get over 60 votes, and I think both sides got 90% or so of what they want, which, you know, in any deal I've been a part of, it represents a lot of bipartisan work. The president was keen to mention that, and thousands of hours from the Senate and the House have gone into getting this to be bipartisan legislation. It's also a good bill for law enforcement to go protect against illicit activity. It's a good bill for the banks. It gives them 13 new powers to go grow their business. And it's good for the crypto companies. And most importantly, it's good for the 50 million or so Americans who own crypto. And so that's the big opportunity we have now to cement all of these changes that everyone's worked on in this administration and make sure it's durable for many decades into the future.
Yeah, I agree with that. What's your take, brother? I mean, supremely bullish. He's always been. What's your take on that?
Yeah, but like I said, we'll see. I think those papers, we'll have to see what the CFTC comes out with. But just that SEC paper, that's putting the flame under them. We get this voted on at least. And I think we'll see.
Yeah, he's super bullish. You got to give him that. He's super bullish. So, you know, we'll slide back here to the actual market here. We're looking at Bitcoin still above 22% over the. You had some pretty good selling, but you know, people bought the deal, right? So we're back up to 79,000. LMFG, the derivatives, it's been completely violent, bro. I don't know if you partake, bro, but man, those shorts were brutal. That shit was crazy, bro.
Yeah, over a couple billion lost, right?
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Yeah,
I stay away from that stuff, dude.
I mean, you play the game, you know, you got to take it both ways, right? You're gambling, you know. It is what it is. What happened to that guy, James Wynn? I don't see him tweeting anymore. That guy, the big loser is what they call him. They say the guy's a billionaire. I don't know, but he was playing the game. He's not playing anymore. I don't see him. Bitcoin 79,000 was still below. We need to close at 83. We need to close at 83 for at least a week before we can really consider this a bona fide run, guys. And we're just not gonna get that. That ain't happening. LMFG, do you think we can do that? Out of everything that I have brought to the table, with this being not a lot of substance here, with Bitcoin metrics, network metrics still below normal, I don't think we're closing at 83 within a week period. I just don't see it. I mean, they would have to push a lot of money through that ETF vehicle, and I think they've pushed all they have right now just to keep us above this point right here for the optics, right? So, what's your take on 83,000 for a week to sustain an actual bull run?
Yeah, we'll see, man.
It's tough, you know.
I think it's just going to sit floating here.
Yeah.
Until the 15th. You know, and you know, with all the tariffs now with Canada, and who knows what's going to go on with Iran. I mean,
exactly.
Start blowing up ships again, right?
Well, yeah, there's that, you know, and a lot of people.
And that's it. It's going to get ugly. If they just hit one ship, it's going to get ugly, you know. So, I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? I wasn't going to bring it up because people get they're triggered, man, when I bring that up. But it's the truth, man. That is causing a lot of turbulence. And then with what Iran is saying now is just crazy, bro. They're daring basing. You know, he came up with this economic D-Day. You know, I think this is very insane as well. Scott Basin is like off the chain right now. You know, a lot of this is directed by Trump, but he's off the chain. That the bond buyback is like insane. And then this economic D-Day plan, it's insane, right? China's like, you know what? We really don't give a damn what you're saying. We don't care about what you're doing. We're not going to save our relationship with Iran. So that's the biggest player that we need to move, along with this plan. They're not going to do it, brother. So I don't know what the hell's going on with these guys, but they're really killing the market. The BlackRock is trying its best to save Michael Saylor from complete ruin with all the ETF inflow, because you know what this is about. And then you have the Canada situation. I don't know if you've been keeping up track with that, but the actual torpedoes that have been, launched at Canada, I think that is really stupid, bro, because that's going to affect buyership. That's going to affect markets as well. They're threatening to cut off electricity to those areas that they supply electricity to. 50% retaliatory tariffs have been levied on us. This is just so bad for markets across the board. Okay. I don't know if you have a take on that, but you're right. It's getting a little wacky.
Yeah, I believe he turned around and said those tariffs go into effect January 1.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
That's just to get him at the table.
Right, yeah. And
you
then,
never know with Trump. He'll turn around and say, "Oh, now we're going to do it tomorrow."
That's the thing.
You never know with this guy.
That's the thing, bro. It's so erratic, man. And you're the president of the United States. You can't be erratic like this. And I think they're just fed up, bro. But there's infrastructure too, LMFG, when it comes to the oil situation that has been destroyed. And we're just not talking about that enough, because it's going to take a year or two to rebuild all that infrastructure. There's infrastructure that was destroyed in Russia too as well. That's going to affect diesel prices. We're almost at $6 right now. If you don't think that's going to affect buyership going into the fourth quarter, think again. These are metrics that are in play when it comes to stocks, crypto, and Bitcoin as well. A lot of this money that is being funneled into Bitcoin right now a lot of that is oil money. See, people don't think about this money and the origin of this money, because they're wrapped up into these asset managers. But a lot of the AUM is oil, it's pharmaceutical. There's some retail there, but it's very, very minuscule. I can break all that down, but a lot of you don't care. I know. But a lot of that money is substantially very, very risky, and it can leave at any given time. It could crash this thing to 50K so fast. And I think if we don't get the Clarity Act, what do you say? We're probably down 6%. What do you think when it comes to Bitcoin, these ETFs going the other way?
I don't know. I think we're going to really, I would think that everybody's diving into that SEC paper right now.
Yeah.
Just in case, to see what the rules and regulations will be there compared to the Clarity Act.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, I think either way, I think we're going to see it be a positive. I think we're going to see money come in on the 15th. Either way, passes or it doesn't.
Right. Yeah, I totally. Yeah, absolutely. Well, we definitely got. I want to talk about this, because this is something that we need to talk about. This is some real shit that's actually, boiling over here. It's the Justin Sun situation. So you guys remember where Libby Finance had launched out. This dude was a big buyer. Actually got a pretty big bag very early. He was really chummy with the Trumps at the time too, man. I mean, he was, he's one, I think he met Trump or something like that. Trump says he never seen the guy, but the guy's saying he actually had, dinner, whatever, They're saying they don't even know him now. It's just like, who is Justin Sun? Yeah, right. We know. We know that you know this guy.
He's the banana man.
Yeah, it's the banana guy, right? So
$5 million he paid for it, throw off the wall and ate it.
Bro, it has to be crazy to be this rich to actually pay that much for a fucking banana that's on the wall. I mean, this dude's loaded, right? So we're Liberty Finance, the famous logo. We love the logo, right? This dude is about to really shellac this particular situation. Sai says Zcash is pumping. Zcash ETF went live a couple of days ago too. That's why you're seeing that pump too as well. Yeah, Zcash is killing it. I don't think it's going to get back up to the all-time high though. They're talking $2,500 by the end of the year. I don't know. That'd be crazy. But this is what's going on, because Justin Sun says his World Liberty lawsuit involving $45 million, okay, is a fight over whether issuers can freeze your assets. And it truly is, bro. This is what I'm telling you. This guy is, and a lot of people are like, this is rich for him to even do this, because he's frozen so many assets over the years. He has been involved in so much mischievous activity. It's like, it's very rich that this is going to be the guy to spearhead this movement, because he's it's really interesting that this is the guy. This is the face of this movement, because he's been involved in a lot of deceptive activities. Remember, he had charges. Gary Gensler was trying to wring this guy's throat. Okay. a lot of issues with this guy. The platform is banned for a lot of us in America, but this is a guy that's spearheading a massive lawsuit against World Liberty Finance, against the Trumps. It's interesting how this is turned around. And I mean, what's your take, bro? Because this is going to be a significant development if he wins his case. They're going to owe this guy a lot of money, back pay. He completely lost all of his money. The token is shit right now. I think it's pumped a little bit, but he did invest in the Trump coin as well. So the effect on World Liberty Finance, Elizabeth Warren is going to be seething at the mouth at this as well. She's watching this too. What you take? This Justin Sun, we talk about him a lot, not too much these days, but he's back in a news cycle, and this is not good. Not for the Trumps.
Yeah, I guess it was over a year ago with all that stuff with, I guess a couple years ago, I guess now with the SEC, like you said, Gary Gensler was going after him.
Yeah, he was trying to ring this guy, man.
I got out of Tron, and that was one of the first I got into, 5 years ago. And got out of it, just sold everything. Because I didn't trust it. I figured this guy's going to jail. You're going to be like CZ looking for a pardon.
Yeah, man. And I mean, you got Saylor. He's just, Saylor, he's tweeting things. We didn't hear a shred from this guy when Bitcoin was like doing the Wire Tuesday. Now, this is what we get from Mr. Saylor at this point in time. This is bizarre as hell, man. This is what he's tweeting now.
Gotta wake up, bitch, get up.
This is what he's doing. This is what he tweeted. The unrealized profits have come to fruition.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah, I gotta stop that. I hope I don't get a strike for that. This is what Michael Saylor is tweeting right now. I mean, we didn't get a peep from this guy, and then when we get this influx and inflow, $81,000 Bitcoin, then he's out of bed. I don't know, bro. The Ponzi must continue, as I always say. It has to continue. So I want to get into some news, breaking news too as well. So we talked about the SEC, right? Now, mind you, CTFC is clashing with a United States soldier. I was going to get into this because of a $400,000 Polymark bet. They're going after this soldier. You know what? Let me pull this up because this is interesting to me. Now, here's the headline here. CFTC has entered a criminal actual probe Polymarket case against a United States soldier, Gannon King Van Dyke, which is an interesting name for a U.S. soldier. Very, very interesting. August the 24th, this was filed after a federal judge granted the regulators permission to file an amicus brief. Okay, so Van Dyke's lawyer has opposed the request. They argued that the CFTC was attempting to defend its regulatory authority through the criminal prosecution while its parallel civil lawsuit remained paused. Judge Margaret Garnett rejected this request to include or exclude the brief, but said that the court would give regulatory arguments appropriate weight. Van Dyke has pled not guilty to charges arising from a Polymarket wager that allegedly generated well over $500,000, guys. So he was accused of making more than $400,000 from an alleged insider Polymarket bet. This is what it is. This is a criminal case that has civil opportunity as well. I mean, I gotta just get your take on this, bro. I mean, I don't know. I think the prediction markets are gonna run into some issues after the Clarity Act, obviously. But when you have this type of insider stuff going on, then you have a U.S. troop that's involved here as well. There's a lot of insider trading going on with Polymarket, Classy, whatever, however you pronounce that shit. What's your take on this and prediction markets going forward when it comes to regulating this? Because a lot of states are like, you know what, after the Clarity Act passes, you're not going to be able to service our citizens. We're going to block you out. This is gambling. What do you think? This is what's coming.
Right, that's exactly, I think, where it's going to go. They're going to have to get gambling licenses.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple of different overseers of gambling. So,
it is.
Because me, that's all it is. It's gambling.
Yeah.
You know, and I just can't believe all the traffic that's on there and the millions.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot.
Around every day. It's crazy.
No, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot going on.
You gotta realize once this regulations and we get something going forward, I think you're going to have, throughout the world, it'll be an additional billion or $1.5 billion people getting into crypto and starting to buy in. So we'll see. I still got $7 trillion, I say. This thing goes, it's going to get there, and it's going to get there fast, I think.
Yeah, it will. It will. We'll see. We'll see. This is another interesting one too, as well. And we're talking about this too, the actual SEC proposals, and this is going to take place if the crypto, if Congress just drops the ball. The SEC just proposed actual crypto rules, regulation, and crypto assets explained. This is what we're talking about. The brief little walkthrough with this. The SEC published a 402-page, you mentioned that, proposed release, and you read that too. I think we both read that. Creating 2 exemptions from Securities Act's registration for offering involving crypto asset investment contracts. You get a startup exemption, and it's going to allow offerings to up to $5 million over a 4-year period, while the fundraising exemption permits around $75 million floor, or actually ceiling there. And that's a rolling 12 months period with the tier disclosure requirements. So there's a buffer there for a lot of startups, which is is decent, right? You have conditional safe harbor rules is going to go into place as well. It's going to remove investment contract labels from crypto assets once the issuer has permanently ceased all essential managerial efforts. And it's just going to call Shiba Inu a great example of that. And I think it's a get out of jail free card for a lot of bad deals. But they're gonna put. I was shocked that they're gonna actually include this in the SEC and CFTC bundled ruling. This is very interesting. And you have other underlying things like the blockchain test, allowing ancillary tokens or securities to actually cross the bridge to be a commodity. It's a couple of checkpoints you got to prove, and then you can get that type of status, which is good. There's a good bridge there. It kind of reminds me of the Howey test. So you have that, This is what's going to be proposed, and there's other parts of it. You read it, bro. What's your take on that? Because you read that as well, the 402 pages. Give us your brief summary on it, because I think this is what's coming. I don't think we're going to get the Clarity Act. The SEC is going to have to do something. What's your take on that? The page, the papers, and these key points as well. Do you feel like that's a get out of jail free, the safe harbor? Is it a get out of jail free card for a lot of bad devs? What's your take?
Yeah, 100%, and that's why I'm saying what I briefed through it. I mean, Pocahontas, Warren, and the banks, they're going to lose it. They I'm sure the banks, they went through that whole 402 pages, and they're screaming right now. That's why I think the Clarity Act's going to get passed.
Yeah, they're going to push it in.
Yeah, the SEC paper is a lot more lenient than the Clarity Act.
Yep. And it shocked me, bro. I wouldn't think it would be that lenient coming out of the SEC and the CFTC, bro.
That's why I remember. It was last week we were talking. I said, "You put the flame under their ass. They better get something done."
Yeah. That's what's happening, man. You have the customer ID rules too, and stablecoin issuers rules. That's already in the Genius Act, but they're going to amend the hell out of that. I think that's what's going to stop the Clarity Act. Those amendments that are going to go through with the Genius Act, and then the banks stop the Clarity Act. We need to do this all over again. Now, here's something that we need to pay close attention to. Mr. Warsh, the Fed leader. Now, this guy right here, this guy's going to make or break the situation this week. So with what Scott Basin is doing, this is going to force the Fed to raise the rates. Okay. Now you already have a lot of governors that were against it. They're saying we need to raise the rates. I don't know if it's going to be 25 basis points or 50. We really don't know that, but this is what's going to make or break the situation. Now, crypto rally is now at Warsh's mercy. This is the tag now. This is what the consensus is. And I believe this. I completely believe this guy is going to make or break the situation. And I think he has to go up with the rates. Bitcoin enters the Jackson Hole week near this week. This is what we have here. You have the Jackson Hole week. It's pushing 80K right now. It's probably going to be below that before Jackson Hole. Crypto greed is at 80. I think it's at 81 right now. The rally began when the Treasury bond buybacks pushed yields and the actual plan that Basin set forth. That was low-key QE. A lot of people took that as low-key QE, which is baffling to me. Now, this is what we have here. We have Warsh's PCE inflation report. We have the GDP report. We have all these reports that are coming up. Okay. along with this $1 trillion cash buyout to the bonds. You have Jackson Hole keynote speech here that the Fed, Kevin Warsh, is going to deliver as his first one.
Hey,
what do you think?
I got to drop off for a second. I'll
Go
be
ahead,
right
brother.
back.
Go ahead, brother.
This is just she got packages.
No. Go ahead. So what I'm trying to say is this is a big week. I think we're going up. Definitely they got to raise the rates. They can't remain level, especially if Basin starts buying these bonds back, printing all this money. You're going to have to raise the rates. That is going to be a bearish moment for a lot of institutions. Okay. This is why I think this guy, welcome to the show, Larry. This guy is going to make or break the situation this week. We have all these reports that are coming up, unsustainable numbers, okay, that are going to be reported. Now, a lot of them are going to be fictitious. They're probably going to blow up a lot of these numbers to make them look fictitiously great, under expectations. I can see it coming. But at the end of the day, the Fed is going to have to make a realistic decision, especially if we get this $40 billion influx into these buybacks, well over $1 trillion already, more money going into saving the carry trade. He's going to have to do something, because I don't know if you guys checked the bond market. It's back up. The infusion and what happened in Japan did not work. So that is going to force a lot of money out of the space, a lot of constriction, essentially. We have the fourth quarter retail season coming up as well. A lot of retailers betting on these buys. You're going to have Cyber Monday. You're going to have all kind of Cyber and Black Mondays coming up here. You're going to have buying opportunities. A lot of people are going to be cutting their prices just to get you to come in. People just don't have it. So you're going to have a very bad report. And I'm talking fourth quarter earning reports coming next year that's going to really break the market. The earnings reports that are coming in right now are already really bearish. Okay. So what we're about to see here is a Fed chair at his first Jackson Hole meeting. He's going to have to actually pacify the situation before they even tell everybody, hey, we're going to raise the rates. They have to raise the rates. Leaving the rates where they are, and even barring this even happens, lowering the rates would be catastrophic for the economy. Okay, catastrophic. So what you're seeing here with the market, this is a very, very pivotal moment. Okay, so again, I would recommend not to even partake right now. You're buying the top of a bubble that's about to pop this week. Okay, so even if it does get to $83,000, that's just going to be more room to fall. That's going to greatly increase the fall pattern of the charts coming forward, because this guy's going to raise rates. There's a mass consensus around the governors right now to raise the rates. So he has no resistance. The thing is, does he have the balls to do it? Does he have the balls to pull the trigger? This is our Fed chair. He's going to do his first little keynote at the Jackson Hole this week. Kevin Warsh here. Does he do the right thing? Because that is the right thing to do, raising the rates. So some of these comments in this thread was pretty interesting here. You have AK says, liquidity got us here. Warsh decides if it stays. And it is completely right. This guy's right. Because if he raises the rates, liquidity is gone. If the carry trade unwinds, liquidity is gone. Okay. There's no institution that's going to be able to save the liquidity. It's going to go. It has to go. People are going to run. So everybody's buying this top right now are going to be completely clamped and crushed. Okay. This is another comment that I've seen too under this that kind of got me. The problem is that this really was based on statements from the White House and friends. So the one world all lies. The U.S. is in very deep trouble. U.S. bond selling is at a new all-time high. It's all hype. And he's right. We're in trouble, guys. This is why Scott Basin is doing what he's doing. This is why the institutions are really, really, really happy that he's doing this, because this is the last ditch. This is the last saving attempt of the bond market. This is all we have. The tools don't work anymore. The tools do not work anymore. This is all we have. After this, there is no other tool that he can use. So this is why we're going all out. And then what's happening in Japan was not baked into the cake. The unwinding of the carry trade was not baked into the cake. Carlos, we could very well collapse next year. I have to tell you the truth. If anybody's telling you that we're not on the verge of collapse, they're lying. Just look at the numbers. In the PPI and the CPI, there's so many metrics that are excluded. I don't even look at that. That's a bunch of bullshit, because they exclude a lot of the actual numbers and metrics that should be included in those reports that would give you a realistic view of what's going on, but they exclude that just so the numbers can look good. The GDP numbers they're laughable. I mean, because I talk to real people, you know, there's hard times in these streets, man. People's cars are getting repoed. They can barely afford meat right now. And if you're driving a diesel vehicle, good luck. We're about to hit $6 a gallon. So if you think that spells a thriving economy, I don't know, bro. I don't know where you're at. Okay. CCP says the collapse is good for BTC. No, and not really, bro. Not really. Initially, you're going to see a wave in, but honestly, it's good for gold. Precious metals are going to benefit from a collapse, not Bitcoin. And this is what they're telling. That's the perspective is way off. What's going to be great is the precious metals market is going to explode during the collapse, because that's what you value. This is why the U.S. is that they just confiscated Venezuela's gold. You have to understand what's going on here. You know, our government knows what's up, but they don't want to tell the public. They don't want to excite the public, because a large amount of the public really don't understand this shit. So they just feed us the fluff, you know, feed us the weird ass numbers, and then you CNN and NBC, whatever the fuck they call themselves these days. Then they perpetuate the lies. But at the end of the day, you need to get ready for this. And if you're involved in these markets, really get involved. You might ought to take some profit in it. You know, not financial advice, but I got to tell you, I got to be realistic with this shit. Okay. Because if he raises the rates, which this is the actual proper thing to do. This is how you curtail this. This is how you get control of things. Raise the fucking rates. You don't lower them. You just exacerbate this issue when you lower rates. Okay. So if you really want to look at the real numbers, man, the credit market is collapsing. Okay, let's talk about it. This is what this guy has to deal with. This is what he's looking at. A collapsing credit market. You have retail and commercial real estate in the tank. No one's paying their mortgage. I think he's at 40% default on the mortgages in the US. No one's paying their mortgage, 35%. The banks are like, holy shit, they can't even foreclose on properties right now because there's too many. So they paused foreclosures. They can't even evict these people because there's too many. It would collapse the banks. So they're looking for a bailout. All we hear about on the news is crypto, blockchain, and Iran, but they never talk about the imploding prospects of the credit market in America. It's imploding. This affects buyership. This is going to affect retail numbers going into 2027. Rami says, why is crypto market pumping? It's very, very fake. We went over that earlier. This is it's largely influenced by large amounts of money going through the actual ETF vehicle. And it had a lot to do with what Scott Basin and Trump did last week on air. The optics have caused this. And there's nothing substantive about the market pumping in this particular pump. The Bitcoin metrics, if you look at Bitcoin metrics, Rami, right now, they're at all-time low. So none of this makes sense. Okay? None of this makes sense at all. It's fictitious. It's all optics. And you have Basin coming out, pumping the stock market, saying, hey, we're gonna fix the bond market, guys. And we're gonna do it by printing tons of billions of dollars and buying our own debt. That's gonna do it. We got it. That is a load of shit. And it is so insane for them to be doing this. And I think this is because Basin really doesn't know what he's doing. He just doing they're just throwing a lot of shit at the wall right now. And whatever shit sticks, yeah, they're gonna go with it. But unfortunately, the tools don't work anymore. This is an insane idea. And then Trump comes out to crypto summit with all these crypto devs behind him saying, we're gonna buy more Bitcoin. You know, Clarity Act is passing, guys. Meanwhile, we see Senator Loomis crying on stage right now saying, this is not happening, guys. We're sorry. And then this man right here, about to do his keynote speech here this week. And I guarantee you, he's going to raise rates. It may be a minuscule basis point, around 25 basis points, but he's going to have to do something because he can't lower them. They're stuck where they are. So you're not going to get lower rates. And if he raises the rates, it's going to break the market, and he knows it. So does he have the balls to do the right thing? I know he's not a lunatic. I know he's not going to lower the rates. We do know that. But does he do the right thing and raise the rates? I don't know. We know, the Treasury Department's not doing the right thing. They're printing billions of dollars to buy back our own debt, which is insane. All the other leaders are like, holy shit, we need to dump the dollar. That's why you see gold skyrocketing. They're converting because they know they're about to nuke the dollar. So, and then this dollar is paired to Bitcoin. This is the dollar we use to buy our crypto, guys. This is the dollar we use to buy our meats and our staples and pay our bills with. They're about to nuke it just to save the bonds, the bond market, which is wrapped in that 30-year yield is your mortgage rates, guys, just in case you didn't know. And this is going up to 8. It's about to go up to 8%, probably above that. So this is what Kevin Washington has to deal with right now, and he's not a sock puppet, but I think, the consensus is raising the rates right now. A lot of the guys that were against it, they're like, the governors are like, okay, yeah, we need to really do something. So we'll see if he has the balls to do the right thing. But either way it goes, we're heading into a state in this country to where a lot of people that are involved in tech, involved in the stock markets, NASDAQ, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever, they're going to have to pull their money out just to fucking survive going into 2027. Okay. CCP says, I thought the economy was improving thanks to AI. Yeah. LMFG, that's probably the biggest bubble we've seen in our lifetime, bro. And there's air that's leaking out. The AI data centers are getting banned here in Texas. I don't know if you guys caught that news that the governor in Texas says no to the AI. You're not hooking up to the grid. You need to find your own power source. And by the way, you need to find out where you're going to get some water too. This is what the governor of Texas has said. He's hit the brakes on the AI data centers. So they could do what they could build, but they're going to have to find their own fucking electricity, and they're going to have to find their own water. This is what the governor said. And I'm so happy about that. The other governors of the country, they're not doing this. They're allowing these guys to tap into the grid, overstrain the grid, double charge their actual, electricity payers just to, supplement that shit. And then they're taxing the water. So if you are living in a state where your governor is allowing this shit, your water bill is going to triple. Your electricity bill is going to triple. This is what you have coming in 2027. So the AI thing is a bubble, and the actual build out of this is going to cost trillions. So the superscalers, the hyperscalers of AI, they got a problem with credit because they're already underwater. They're using borrowed money to hyperscale. So this is a big issue at LMFG, and AI is wrapped into. You have a lot of actual crypto that's wrapped into this too as well, crypto money. So when it comes to the NASDAQ, it's heavily leveraged on the hyperscalers, NVIDIA, things of that nature. The only AI that I think is going to survive is Elon's build. Grok. He has the money. He bought a complete grid, bro. So I think if you really want to talk AI, let's talk Elon, because he's the only one that could legitimately pull this shit off. But all these other hyperscalers, they're using borrowed money, LMFG. What's your take on that?
Isn't he's building that what's he called, Terrafab?
I think so.
Plant.
Right.
At 100 million square feet. Mm-hmm. But that's Texas, right?
Yeah. No, he's got to go on that. Yeah, he's got to. The governor loves Elon, but Elon's self-sufficient. He's building his own grid. He's going to have his own compartmentalized grid. He's got his own water source. He's good. I think I checked on this. We talked about the desalination plants that can funnel water into these situations. There is a way to filter that to where it could be used, from what I've been told and from what I've researched. So if he's smart, he would go to the desalination route. He's got the money to do it. He's the only guy that's got the money to put this type of facility together to facilitate his needs for water. Right. So because where he's at, there's an issue there. The San Antonio aquifer is almost dry. And that's what San Antonio uses. That's their water supply. I'm local. I'm in Texas, guys. I know what I'm talking about. That aquifer that he's tapped into, that's the only source of that region, Austin, San Antonio area. It's running dangerously low. So I don't know what the hell they're going to do down there. If he does tap into that and that thing gets down to dangerous levels, what's going to happen to Central Texas? I don't know. It's an issue. It's an issue there. So you have water and electricity issues, but the governor's like, you know what? We need the brakes on this. 380 AI centers. You're not going to tap into this grid. We can't handle it. So I'm so glad he's come to this fruition. I'm so glad he's took his head out of his ass. And he's really thinking about this properly because, this is just not feasible. And again, the hyperscaler is on borrowed money right now. So when you talk about a bubble, this is the biggest one I've ever seen in my life. Jay Thacker, what's going on, brother? Welcome to the show. I mean, because CCP brought this up, and I mean, AI, yeah, it's fabulous. It looks great on the surface. It's doing great things for a lot of people, but at the same time, when it comes to scaling out this thing, I don't think there's enough water, money, or electricity for it, LMFG. This is why Elon's like, we may need to do this off world. He's right. It is what it is. But your take on the last take on the AI thing, and then wars, because you were away when I was talking about it. This guy has to raise rates. He's gonna have to, especially if Basin is going to institute this plan to save the bond market, which I don't think that's even doable at this point in time. I think the 10-year is pushing 5 almost. The 30 years almost at 6 LMFG. These are territories that are, you don't come back from that, especially with how these bonds are overextended across the world. Everybody's selling them. They don't want them. And I don't think there's enough money to even sustain that shit. And then here we have these billions of dollars that are being put into fruition to actually, quote unquote, save the implosion. That's going to nuke the dollar. So this is a lose-lose situation for us. And then, to couple all of that, I know I'm being super bearish, but this is really what's going on the ground. You're not getting this information from your news outlets. This is what's going on the ground, guys. Legitimate shit that's going on a retail commercial basis. The mortgage crisis is big. It is huge. Over 35% default right now that's registered, probably going to go into the 50% range going into the fourth quarter. The banks are squeezed right now. That's why they're like, we're already getting our balls toasted. And then you're going to pass the Clarity Act that allows people to get this beautiful yield with the stablecoin loopholes. You're killing us. That is going to be the last nail in the coffin for the bank if this thing passes, and they know this because there's no bailout. Trump is not going to bail out these banks, bro. So that's going to lead to massive consolidation, nationalization of a lot of banks to get, you know what I'm saying? And then CCP tells me Dolly Parton died today. It just gets worse. It just keeps getting bad, bro. What's your take?
Yeah, it's we'll see, because I believe the numbers come out before the next meeting, the FOMC meeting. So we'll have to see. But yeah, I see him raising the rate a quarter point.
And they have to, bro.
Yeah.
There's no way that they come out of this without raising the rates. And I think it may even be too late. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got Japan raising their rates. Did you see the Japan? They're going to raise 50 basis points, bro. Yep. I mean, that carry trade is done. That's a major vehicle for liquidity.
Yeah, horrible. It's not pretty, so much stuff.
It's okay.
I hope that enough manufacturing and everything starts rocking and rolling within the next 6 months to a year. Like I said, they just opened up another warehouse here up in Henderson. So there's a lot of building going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And in my area here, they're just going nuts. I mean, just everywhere is building.
Well, yeah, I think in Texas and Florida alone, I think home prices went down 50%. These builders are losing a lot of money, bro. They overbuilt. They had a 4 or 5 year plan. They were told everything was going to be peachy. They overbuilt, right? And they're going to go bankrupt. I'm seeing some crazy numbers, and this is gonna run. I'm telling you, this bleeds into the whole aspect of the GDP and all this shit. This is the reason why I feel like the credit market is done. It's toast. And I have to tell you, this financial system, monetary system, if you don't know, this is how it's built. It's built for perpetual debt. This is the engine of our financial system, our monetary system, perpetual debt. It has to have perpetual debt to function. This is how it's built. That is collapsing. Now, we used to have a 50-year jubilee. I'll take you down the road of history. There used to be, every 50 years, there was a debt jubilee to where everybody had their debt wiped clean. Okay. This maintains that perpetual debt cycle. This maintains the structure, the infrastructure of this type of monetary system. You have to have a jubilee every 50 years. We haven't had a jubilee in fucking decades, LMFG. This is why this thing is collapsing, honestly. There has not been a reset for centuries. It has been perpetually building up to this point to where it can't function anymore because there's too much perpetual debt. Now, if everybody paid their bills, it would collapse because that's not what it's built for. That's why when you do pay bills off, your credit report actually drops. When you do pay bills. What's up, Selma? Welcome to the show. I hadn't seen you in a while, brother. I hope you're doing well. When you pay bills, look at your credit report, the number actually drops. Because that's not what you're supposed to do. That's not how this thing is built. It's not built for you to be responsible. It's built for you to have perpetual debt. It is what it is. This is how it is. So when you have this actual ceiling being reached to where this perpetual debt cycle has reached the point to where no one's paying their bills, and a lot of the recycled properties on a commercial retail basis are not able to be recovered and resold and repropagated. This is a major issue, LMFG, that I don't think we've seen in the past 250 years. This is monumentally bad. So this is why you have this bond implosion that's going on, and Scott Basin is running around like a chicken with his head cut off, trying to figure this shit out, you know? But the actual solution is going to force the Fed to raise rates, and then that's when the shit's going to hit the Fed. Okay, and I have to give it to you straight up. This is what we're facing here. Now, a lot of the Bitcoin boviation, what you're seeing here with Bitcoin, there's a lot of scared money running to Bitcoin. And you can see the same thing in gold. You mentioned that. There's a perfect barometer. They're running parallel. Bitcoin has diverse. There's a divergence when it comes to Bitcoin and tech correlation. Now you're seeing a gold correlation. This should alarm a lot of people because we know what's going on with gold. We know why that gold is pumping. We know why people are moving to precious metals. That's smart money, LMFG. Bitcoin is receiving that same treatment as well, but it's in the form of ETFs, which makes it's very quick. That vehicle is very, very fast. It's very easy to buy ETF. So this is what we're seeing. This has nothing to do with a crypto catalyst. This is what I want to explain to people. It's not a crypto catalyst and not a blockchain catalyst. It has nothing to do with any prior developments or current developments that have been announced, partnerships, none of that. This is so far from being a true catalyst. The only one we have is the Clarity Act, LMFG, and I don't think we're going to get that. CCP says, why isn't BTC mainstream yet? Bitcoin was not built to be mainstream. LMFG, this is the misconception, bro. Bitcoin, its original conception, it was not built for what they're trying to turn it into, brother. It's not what it was built for. Infrastructurally, it's not built for it. This is why they're trying to pass these hard forks and things of that nature. The core development team knows when they need to really do some alterations for this to actually function the way these institutions want it to. They're going to have to fork this thing. They're going to have to do some rebuilding. It's just not fast enough. There's some security issues with the inscriptions. LMFG, I'm gonna digress because we got to end this show. But it's what's your take, brother? What's your take?
It is what it is.
It is.
It's crazy. I mean, there's so many different things up in the air right now, so we don't know. And it is what it is. That's how I'm holding. Not telling everybody just holds for now. Let's see what happens. If you want to peel a little profits, go ahead. Just hold on.
Yeah, it looks like the stock market is telling the truth. I'll give you some good news, bro, because there is good news under this. But the stock market is telling the truth, bro. If you want to really look at the truth, and it's kind of interesting that the stock market is actually not running parallel to Bitcoin. That should tell you a lot too as well. They're not happy with what Scott Basin is doing. But I would tell you, here's some good news now, and I'm going to peel back to the actual the top 25 here because there's some good news, guys. Now you have a lot of alts that are pumping right now for legitimate reasons. Solana is pumping right now because of the consensus upgrade and Hyperliquid. They are going to get complete clearance. That's a huge perp exchange. They're going to be scaling out as well. They're about to get broad clearance across the board, across the planet. That is a great situation to get involved in. This thing was at $40. So if you would have bought 3 months ago, you would have been in the money essentially. You would have had a 50% increase in your portfolio. No one was buying it, Hyperliquid, when they should have, in the red. We talked about that earlier. So you have these big time perp exchanges, and I would include Aster in that as well. I believe that's going to be a big player too, but I don't know about overwhelming clearance like Hyperliquid is about to get. But you have that Solana, that's very, very, very legit situation there, just under $100. BNB, that they're going to launch a new layer 1 next year, LMFG. I think that's very bullish for the chain. They're about to form their own identity finally. They're still kind of semi-tethered to ETH right now. I don't know if there's going to be a private chain. I don't know if it's going to be its own monolithic build. I don't know. We don't know for sure what's going on there, or if it's just going to be another L2. We don't know. I would hope that they kind of like, I want them to establish their own identity. I really wish this L1 is going to do this, but we getting that next year. So we'll see. That could balloon this thing all the way up to $2,000. Who knows? CCP says he does not trust Solana to centralize. Yeah, I totally get it. I totally get it. Zcash, new spot ETF. That's great news right there. This thing is probably going to get up to $1,000 for the year. You had a protocol upgrade as well. They fixed the exploit LMFG. I don't know if you know that AI audit, they caught the exploit and all the minting that occurred. The team is back together. There's great things going on there. That is a legitimate pump up to $800, right? Chainlink, obviously, great news for Chainlink, back over $10. If you know about Chainlink, you already know. You know what's up. You need to get involved with that. That is going to be the corner piece. That is the core of a lot of RWA activity that's going to be ensuing in the next 5 years. So that thing is going to explode. Monero, privacy protocol, Cardano, LMFG. While we're at Cardano, this pump, no substantive pump here. Cardano was pretty much dead before the pump, right? So are we looking at a dying breed when it comes to this ecosystem? It's slated to be a commodity. Apparently it's been graded very, very high with the AI audit situation. Is it a dead man walking, or are we looking at something that's probably going to explode when tokenization hits very, very hard, coming into the 5 years period coming up? Is ADA okay?
Yeah, I believe so, dude. Like I said, this is the third version of blockchain.
Yeah.
And they just got midnight over in Japan at one of the big exchanges.
Yeah.
And that was like a couple days ago, because that privacy protocol is pretty sharp.
Yeah, it got good grades. Yeah.
And then you got Leos and Hydra ready to go cut loose at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And it's going to bring tremendous speed to the network. So we'll see.
Yeah,
Stable networks out there for the last 12 years now, right?
Yeah.
It crashed. I mean, you got to give Hoskinson a lot of credit there.
He's been going through a lot of shit.
Yep.
No, 100%. He's been going through a lot of shit, and I like the midnight thing. So I think they'll get that shit together, man. Those are some smart guys. And Hoskins, he's no pushover. He doesn't take a lot of shit either. He speaks his mind. That's why I love the guy. So I'm not worried about ADA. Just a lot of hurdles we got to get past. Stellar, obviously Stellar. You got the spot ETFs that are going to explode later. It's a good buy at 19 cents. Not financial advice, but if you know, 23% up. And they're just following the wave of ETH in Bitcoin, by the way. Canton I love Canton. And if you've been keeping on track with what Canton's been doing and what they're involved with and what they're entangled with, this is going to be a very interesting situation to be involved in. Do your research. You'll like what you see and what you find in that. Again, Hydra, HBAR, up across the board, there's some substantive issues there is going on with HBAR as well. DTCC is very, very high on this, as well as other situations that I mentioned too as well. So they're going to be used. That's the thing. You want to be invested in something that's going to be used, that has a purpose. That the actual systems outside of the space are going to actually be, relying upon and leveraging. That's where you need to put your money. And a lot of these are boring projects. They're not memes. They're not NFT projects. They don't have a lot of big community that's shilling them right now. They're OG product that's already built for the future, that is being upgraded, is being accepted because it has legitimate status. They have, runtime that exceeds short-term situations that have been pretty stable, like ADA, like we've been telling you. These platforms, this is what the government's going to go for. This is what tokenization, RWA, this is what they're going to go for. The solidified, stable situations. They don't have to be super fast or super slow, but they want stability. And they want the ability to be able to facilitate what's coming. Put those in your watch list because they do exist. Even AVAX, man. I talk to people about AVAX and they're like, are you crazy? This thing is so down. I lost so much money, Michael. I'm not touching AVAX. Okay. I totally get it. Sui Chain is another one too as well. Phantom Wallet just dropped Sui Chain. I don't know if you caught that MFG. Phantom Wallet has been dropping a lot of chain network. And a lot of it has to do with the meme fees. They want meme activity. The Phantom wallet is all about memes. Okay, they're trying to incorporate perps. I think they did actually. They're trying to follow what MetaMask is doing, but that's not the same wallet, LMFG. The Phantom wallet is putting a lot of shade on chains because they're dropping network support. This is the latest one, the Sui chain. And it has nothing to do with Sui. It has a lot to do with the fact that Sui does not have a lot of meme traffic, as well as Monad. You know, they dropped Monad. It had nothing to do with Monad's actual development or anything. They were not making a lot of money off the memes. This is why they're dropping support. And it's sending the bad message across the board. It's like, should we sell Sui? No, absolutely not. But this is what's going to happen going forward because legitimacy is going to take place and a lot of the meme activity is going to subside after language because they implanted some meme coin regulation, guys. And this is something that they're not talking about, LMFG. This is what Loomis is not talking about because this is not a glorious subject. But there is meme coin language within the actual markup. Okay. So I don't know if the networks that are being dropped by Phantom, I don't know if they actually got wind of that and they understand that this is going to subside and this is a loss for them to keep these networks. You know, they're just going with the Ethereums and the Bitcoins. You know, this is what they're sticking with. You know, the legitimate fee bearing situations. You know, the ones that are very, very high in volume. This is what they're going to stick with. Anything that's like low in volume, they're going to shed. I mean, that's smart business practices if you're in it for money, right? I would think so. You know, I would think so. So I think you're muted, brother. Yeah, you're still muted on me.
I just said, yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Phantom, I'm going to drop everything that's like in the red for me. I'm not going to keep it, you know, it's no shade on the chains, but this is how it works. So if you guys are seeing this on X or whatever, these chains are okay. Monad is okay. Sui is okay. Just, you know, Phantom is in it to make money. And if they're not making money off your chain, they're going to drop it. CCP says, I'm all in it for the money. I love money so much. Yeah, man, we need it. It's the essential, right? We're not in the barter days, you know, back in the day where you could, you know, we may be, I don't even want to say that. We may be knocked back into the Stone Age for a bit next year. I don't know. To where you're going to have to literally look for chickens and shit, you know. Eggs are going to be too high. You're going to be stealing your neighbor's chickens. So we have Shiba Inu. That is a commodity. Don't touch Shiba Inu. It is up right now, but you got a lot of whales in Shiba that are waiting on you to buy it. So be careful with Shiba Inu. There's a lot of people that still hold like tons of that shit. So whenever you're buying it, you're donating. So be careful. You're donating to a lot of these lower levels. So just be careful. I'm really bullish on Uniswap going forward. That token gives derivatives as well. It gives paybacks to you from the system. You know, if you hold the token, it's at $4. Real bullish on Uniswap going forward as well, especially when everything takes off with the on-chain finance. It's going to be pretty cool for Uniswap. That's it, man. Everything else, you know, watch out. I like the actual tokenized commodities when it comes to gold too. I told you guys about PAX Gold. This is a real gold. You can actually redeem real gold once you buy this. You can redeem it. It comes out of London, but you can actually redeem solid gold with this PAX Gold situation. Tether has the same thing as well, but I don't think you can redeem solid gold. I like the PAX Gold situation. So if you're into precious metals, you want to buy gold, why not do it on a tokenized aspect? You know, you can actually get yield from this. So pretty interesting, LMFG, what we have here with the market. Your take as we move into the giveaway. I got to add some people to the giveaway, Will, but you know, barring anything crazy, I think we're probably going to get a rate hike this week. I think you're going to get some bearish numbers unless they fudge them, LMFG, because it's not all good. So if we do get numbers that are under expectations, I call bullshit on that, bro, because I'm looking at real numbers. I'm looking at the floor, talking to real people. I'm looking at these diesel prices. I'm looking at what people have going out versus coming in, and it's just not matching up to green numbers, brother. But what's your take?
Yeah, I'm just, like I said, just hold. Yeah, no, let's see what happens here. And then I think you said something about rate hikes.
Yeah, this week, yeah.
I thought it was in September.
No, I think I'm talking about the actual Jackson Hole. I think the word, you got to watch the wording, because I think he's going to give us some preludes. He's going to give us some information that we kind of decipher from. This dude is different. He's not Powell, you know what I'm saying? He's a little different, and I think he's going to give us some leeway into where they're going to lean. And when I'm looking at the consensus here, a lot of the governors, they're going from rate, stagnation, from lowering to like they're ready to raise. There's like a mass consensus here. It's like we need to raise the rate. So I think they're actually going to push this guy into raising rates. But we'll listen to the Jackson Hole. We'll see the remarks, and we'll see what he's talking about this week, because I think we're going to get some insight on what's to happen. And I think we're going to get rate cuts. I should have clarified that earlier, but yeah, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I hear you. I didn't realize that's what you were pertaining to.
Yeah. I think the guy's going to be truthful. Again, he's not a sock puppet, and I think he's going to be truthful with his wording. And I think I need to get Rami on this, and then we can spin it here. And that's going to move the markets, just his words alone. These institutions are going to be listening to every fucking word this guy's going to say this week. And it's all about optics. This is what, based on, words on the bond. And Trump's, speech in front of the blockchain devs gave us an $81,000 Bitcoin with no substance, bro. This is wild. What's going on here? It's fucking crazy. And meanwhile, everything is imploding, So, it is what it is. I guess we could, let me check the news cycle real quick, and then we'll get into the giveaway. And that's really not the substantial. I don't see anything really something. We told you guys about the Mark Sailors in the news. This guy doesn't poke his head out until we get Bitcoin up 25%. Then we get Michael Saylor. We see him everywhere. But he's been really, really quiet. And what's the other guy? The ETH guy. I forgot the guy's name. We hadn't heard him in a while, so I told you guys about, this is an interesting thing too when it comes to AI. We're talking about AI and the Riot platforms. A lot of the mining conglomerates, they're selling out to AI, LMFG, and we talked about this 6 months ago. You had this discussion about a lot of the Bitcoin miners that were selling. Tom Lee, that's the name, brother. Yeah, he's lost a lot of money. Poor Tom Lee. So when you talk about this bill out, a lot of the actual like Riot and Marathon, these conglomerates that are losing their shit because of the Bitcoin metrics, core metrics are at all-time lows right now. And this is why I'm like, what are we looking at here? Because when you have all these conglomerates, these mining conglomerates that are selling out to AI, why are they doing that? Well, it's because they're not fucking making money. Bitcoin metrics are low. So why not, pull in billions of dollars? You know what? You can have our farm. It's already built out. We got cooling. It's already built out. We got the miners for you. It's already just completely connected. We have in Texas, they have solar parks too as well that's connected. They have an alternative way of running this thing down here. So why not take billions of dollars worth of buyout money, cut your losses, and just hand it over to AI? This is what Anthropic is doing with Riot right now. $9.1 billion Anthropic deal with Riot. They're selling their miners to AI. This is what's happening, bro. So I'm looking again, we look at this Bitcoin price and it's like, yeah, there's something fishy going on here, because we have all these big time mining conglomerates. They're selling their rigs to AI. This is a $9 billion deal that Anthropic made with Riot. Big time miner, brother. So again, shit does not make sense to me. It's a little fishy. What you take on that buyout? Because you're going to see marathons are going to do the same thing. All these mining conglomerates, they're losing money like crazy. Miners are losing money right now. Why not take this buyout, bro? Makes a lot of sense.
I think they're just starting to turn green at 80 grand, right?
I don't know, bro. I don't know about that. I mean, if you look at what's going out, these are the electricity bills that are doubling because of AI.
I was going to say the electricity just going up and up.
Yeah, I think they're in the red. I really, and this is, you got Riot selling out $9 billion, bro. I think that's just breaking even for them.
And you're going to wind up being less decentralized.
Absolutely. You took the words out of my mouth, brother. That's exactly what my point is right there. Decentralization is no more. We're seeing the transformation of it. I don't know what the fuck they're going to call this, but it's not going to be decentralized at the end of the day. You already have the CeFi thing taken over. You have the on-chain finance is the new term for DeFi. That is transitioning as well. So, this is what the Clarity Act is, guys. It said, the CCP said, I just paid $600 for our electricity bill here. Yeah, in New York City. Hey, Canada is threatening on pulling the plug on you guys, man, because of what's going on. Be careful. The Canadians are pissed. They're talking about flipping the switch. And I think they're supporting that grid down there, bro. So, oh man, this is crazy. $600. We got people paying $1,500 in Alabama, which is crazy. That costs them. It's getting crazy, man. It's getting crazy. So I digress from that. Let's go ahead and do something really fun. Let's go ahead and do something fun. Give away some of my soul. Dude, go solar. Go solar, man. I'm going off the grid soon. I'm going straight solar. All right. All we need is 12,000 watts. That's it. We're good. I think I use 6,000 right now. That's all I need. I'm gonna put my ceiling at 12,000. I'm gonna get a solar array. I'm going completely off the fucking grid. It's so easy to do right now. Get your 12,000 watt inverter, right? Get your solar array. Put about 5,000 watts on your solar array. Wire that shit to your inverter. You can do a transfer switch and you can wire that shit to your goddamn breaker and you can run your whole house. And then if you need a backup, you can actually get a 6,000 watt generator. All right, you can convert that to run kerosene or propane, or you can hook it up to a natural gas line, and that's your backup for your solar array. It's very easy to go off grid. Very easy to go off grid. And that's my plan. Because if this AI really does, they're going to tax the grid so hard. It's going to be rolling blackouts in the future. You don't want to be on grid when that happens. That's just, I probably said too much. But that's my plan. It's very easy. I think you're going to spend about $8,000 tops to get your inverter, your solar array, which all you need is 5,000 watts for that inverter to recharge your batteries. Your batteries are going to cost like $2,000 a piece. So, and then you run your, I would put the solar array on the ground. I wouldn't put it on top of your ceiling. It's going to kill your value of your home. So you don't want to put nails in your fucking shingles. So, you run this array, you do your solar farm on ground. So you have access to it just in case you need to change it, right? Swap out an array or add some arrays, it's on ground. They have nice little, rigs that you can put on ground, and solidify that for yourself. And then there you go, man. Most of you probably only use 6,000 watts anyway, so you're probably going to need just a 10,000 watt inverter. And they're everywhere, man. This shit is so easy. It's so easy to go off grid right now. It's so fucking easy. Jay Thacker says, some of them have not come. What is the latest member video? Oh no, what we did here is we just put everybody on the wheel, brother. We're going to do a appreciation spin, and we put all of the members on the wheel. So no need to do the video because see, the week was screwed up last week. So, and we did do a member video and we got those winners distributed. And then we're going to do an appreciation spin for you guys because I do appreciate you guys. So I believe we got everybody on here that is. And let me actually, I'm glad you said that, Jay. Let me make sure I got everybody. Give me a sec, guys. LMFG, what you think about going off grid, man? What's your take on that, bro?
Yeah, it's I'm going back 20 years ago. My buddy's brother-in-law, he bought the top of a mountain up in Maine, and that's what he did. He put a huge solar array, batteries, generator. He had a drill, I think, like 500 feet because he's on the top of a mountain to get water. And he'd been there for 20 years. I think, from my understanding, last night I talked to Brian, twice he had to replace the batteries, about 10 grand. Mm-hmm. But then everything else is free. He doesn't pay for power. He uses satellite, and no issues. He's happy. Hasn't paid an electric bill in 25 years.
There you go, man. Yeah, it's very easy, bro. A lot of people when I tell people this, is like, well, what happens when there's too many clouds and you can't get a charge? That's where the backup generator comes in. You wire that in there, and then you just flip your transformer.
And you can do batteries too. It just gets expensive.
No, absolutely.
Well, you gotta flip.
Well, see, that's what. Yeah, you gotta have your batteries because that's your storage. You don't want to. A lot of solar arrays, a lot of these fucking people that are going around knocking on your door, they're just trying to get you to supplement the grid. They're not even giving you a storage. They're not even giving you batteries. They're just giving you a pass-through system, a hybrid system. And you're just following what you're generating to the electric company. That's not what you want. You want to go completely, if I'm going to do solar, I'm going off fucking grid. I don't want to supplement the grid. I don't want to feed power into them because what they're going to do is give you all kind of fees to offset the credits. I know the game. That's why when those guys come to my door, I flip them off. I don't want to talk to you. I know what you're doing. You're not going to give me with that shit. So yeah, you're right, LMFG. You need storage. You need at least 5.5 kilowatt hours per battery if you want it. You combine that, you run them in series. You parallel them together, and you run both of them simultaneously into your inverter for storage, and that's like over 10,000 watt hours. You're good. you're good. So, and then that backup generator that you're going to hook up to your natural gas line or propane or kerosene or whatever, diesel, whatever, that's just for when, you know, your solar arrays can't get a proper charge. You run that until you get out of the bad weather situations, and then you switch back to your solar arrays. It's so easy. So easy, LMFG. And then you're right, you're going to need storage. That's where the batteries come in. You can buy these systems, they're bundles. To where you can buy them to where you get your inverter, 10,000 watt or 12,000 watt inverter. I like a lot of ceiling, so I'll go with the 12,000 watts. So I have a lot of ceiling there, just in case I go crazy or bonkers a couple of weeks. You know, I may have a party, whatever. You know, you still have that ceiling, right? But I barely use 6,000, so I want an extra 50% ceiling just in case. You know, that's what I like. I like to have that ceiling pretty high when it comes to electricity. So, you know, you get your batteries. That's your storage. That's what's running your home at nighttime. And these solar arrays are so advanced, they even charge at night. They even charge by moonlight. So you're not getting an optimal charge, but you're getting about 1,000 watts even when the moon's up on a clear night. So, you know, you wake up and your battery's at 75%. You know, these solar arrays are so more farly advanced, and they even charge from reflective materials on the ground. So they have a two-way charge. They get the charge from the sun and from the backside of anything that's reflecting off the sun. It's crazy. When everybody tells, oh, solar is bullshit, yeah, you just don't know. You don't know what you need to research. You know, it's evolved from, you know, our grandfather's solar arrays, you know, the old school shit. It's very easy to do too, guys, to go off grid. But with that being said, we went into a solar array situation. We went into off grid shit. That's crazy, bro. But I think this is a necessary conversation. Consider where we're headed. You know, you gotta think, you know, nuclear. We don't need no CCP. I'm not adding a nuclear. I don't know, bro. You know, I don't know. We may get to that point if we live long enough to where we have a little reactor hooked up, little miniature reactor, you know, antimatter situation going on there. I don't know, but let's go ahead and get into this LMFJ. We're getting wacky, man. CCP says hook the nuclear to us. We do have nuclear plants here in Texas, but they're industrial. They're not, I don't think they're even hooked up to but Greg Abbott has gave orders to fire those back up recently. So that's very interesting. We have our coal plants that are being fired back up too. So it's getting crazy. You know, I like the backup plans. So we're going to spin. We need 3 winners. We're going to get some soul out to the winners. This is appreciation spin, guys. No need for the you know, participation on the video. You guys already did that last week. I already distributed those prizes. So we're going to do an appreciation spin right now. Let's get 3 winners. What's up, Raul? And we do got everybody on the wheel here. Let's see what we got. We got Lala and Spencer Marketing coming up. I think Spencer Marketing is actually going to win this first prize. There we go. So we have Spencer Marketing. That's a new member too right there. Congratulations, Spencer Marketing. CCP says, why do we use so much energy? Oh man, a lot of the energy that's being used is not even retail. It's not even commercial. It's black project energy that's being used. So energy flies, bro. And then a lot of it is wasted too, right? Am I right, LMFG? We have a lot of wastage going through because of the way we wire and distribute energy. The heat that comes off of these lines, that's wasted energy. You know what I'm saying? And so we waste a lot too, CCP, because of the infrastructure. It's antiquated. All right, so we need 2 more.
And we're getting there with the fusion as well. You know, we got that rolling. So eventually, that's where it'll go.
Yep.
Just hopefully, because right now I think they're just about getting it positive. So it's going to take some more years. But once they get that down pat, that's going to be beauty.
Yeah.
Now you don't have all that radioactive waste.
Absolutely. Can't wait for that to happen.
And they're minis. They're not these huge things. I mean, I think you could put a fusion reactor right here in my garage.
Yeah, they're not very large. Do you remember the kid? There was a kid that actually drew up. He's got a patent. He made like one of those reactors in his garage, and they arrested his family. They arrested his family, and they charged the family with child abuse. It was some weird shit. This was a case. This is actual reality, man. This kid created one of those reactors. I don't know if it was in America or overseas. And yeah, it was on the news, man. I think you can still pull up the YouTube video. The kid showed you exactly the experiment that he did and how he created this fusion reactor. And the parents got arrested. And I'm pretty sure the tech got, confiscated. I'm pretty sure because of all the, materials that he had out there. And that's one thing that the government was like, well, where did you get all this material? Where did you get all this? That's the main thing that was worried about, like how it affected the neighborhood and all this shit. But yeah, it's a real thing. You're right, man. I think we're there. We've been there, and yeah, it's interesting times that we live in, man. I see we can get 2 more. That was a good spin. I think it's going to be Jay Thacker. It's been a while, bro, since I've seen you on the wheel as a winner. So we got Jay Thacker, 3165. You are a winner, bro. All I need is that SOL address so we can get you some of that SOL. SOL is pumping too right now, man. So we get you some SOL in that wallet, bro. We need 1 more. Let's see, Raul, he just passed you, brother. So I'm gonna call Wanderer. Yep, Wanderer, AA22. Congratulations, Wanderer. So CCP, did you see that? LMFG says fusion is always just 5 years away since 1950. They keep suppressing it, bro. I guarantee you the military's using it. I guarantee you they're already using it. I just know it. You know, a lot of this tech is 30, what was made in the 30s or some shit like that. So yeah, that's funny. So let's go ahead and get the results, and we'll get our closing thoughts. So the first winner is going to be Spencer Marketing. Hand clap to you, Spencer. Jay Thacker is going to be number 2. Hand clap to you, brother. And we'll round it up with Wanderer 8822. Hand clap to all 3 of you. And I just need that wallet. All I need is that wallet, and we'll send those prizes to you and give you some SOL, which may end up being more at the end of the day because this thing is pumping. The market is pumping. It's fictitious. Take your profits. LMFJ, that's the best thing we can tell people, man. If you are, you bought 3 months, your portfolio is looking absolutely fabulous. I think, brother, at the end of the day, I think the best thing we can tell people is to take the profits. What do you think, man? I mean, at least take a little bit.
Yeah, I have in the past, but like right now, what I try to do is I just try to take out my investment and then just leave it there. And if it winds up dying, it dies. And if it winds up making it, some of this stuff, and you think about it, 2, 3, 5 years from now, and these things are rocking and rolling. It can be life-changing funds.
Yep, absolutely.
It is the next version of the internet. It's coming, and your banking, and all your RWAs. Like I keep saying, every code will be on blockchain.
That is true. CCP says he can't take profit because he bought Litecoin in 2017. Oh man, you should be looking good, bro. What are you talking about? Speaking of RWAs, man, I like that you mentioned that. I want to take a look at that, what that's looking like right now, because I'm heavily into those facilitators, man. And you know what? I better get off, man. It's time to cook a late dinner, because I got to roll. I was going to show you the part that I love about this is what we're seeing transition into on-chain activity. And I want to show you guys this because I think this is beautiful. Now, we're both into index, and I think that's the only situation that you can actually get these dropped into your wallet, these tokenized commodities, when it comes to tokens, when it comes to tokenomics, and what we're shifting to when it comes to these drops, derivatives-based tokenomics. We're used to getting, staking. We're used to getting these drops from the native coin that you're holding, but this is totally different. What we're going in, what index is doing, completely different situation. You're getting NVIDIA, you're getting Apple, you're getting Google, you're getting silver. These RWAs we're talking about. These are tokenized commodities, by the way. There are different forms of RWAs, tokenized assets, but these tokenized commodities, the new tokenomics that are coming forward for a lot of coins, this is the new way, LMFG. This is how you incentivize holders. This is a perfect way of incentivizing your holder, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, by all means. Like I said, I put a little bit into it. I got 18 stocks.
Yeah. I mean, bro.
Every hour or so, you get a little bit more.
Bro, this is better than a 401k. I mean, shit. It's crazy what's going on here, man. I keep looking, paying attention to this dev team. They just keep launching layers to this app. So, and all these layers are fun. You know what's cool about it? This team, not only this basket of ever-growing tokenized assets that you get for just holding that coin, they actually have a mechanism that's actually funneling a percentage of that activity into the LP as well, liquidity pool. And I think that's very important to have something going there. It shouldn't be a never-ending sucking sound coming out of LP. There should be some return. And I think anybody, the devs, you need to understand, this is what you need to code into your projects. Some type of mechanism that is actually funneling a percentage of these fees and the income into LP. It just makes sense. I don't know what you take on that. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, by all means. I mean, and that gives you an incentive to go into it.
Yes.
There's not liquidity there. So.
Absolutely, man. We're looking at $7.3 billion in climbing when it comes to total tokenized market cap, RDRs. We're talking the actual commodity side of it. And this is amazing. Now, ETH, if you think ETH is going to go anywhere, it's not going anywhere. They make up almost 80% of this fucking market cap when it comes to this. So ETH is not going anywhere. Solana is behind it, and then BNB. So you got that new layer 1 that's coming up with BNB next year. I think this is why they're doing it, because they're going to need more bandwidth for this shit. And you see the ETH, they're going through the Glamsterdam. They're trying to get ETH ready for the boom. So this is where it's at, LMFG. This is what we've been talking about. This market cap is going to continue to grow. I mean, you've seen a huge spike of it this morning as well. So yeah, this is what's up, man. This is what's going on. And with that being said, what's your last take on this, bro? So we can move out.
Nah, all good, man. Good show, a lot of good topics, brother. It is what it is. I hate saying that, but we're just busting the sauce right now until all this stuff calms the hell down between Iran, Canadian. Everybody keeps forgetting about Russia and Ukraine, and it's crazy.
That Russia and Ukraine shit.
And with Iran, who knows? Because they're threatening to try to go after some ships now.
Yeah.
So that'll be ugly. Like I said, if they hit an oil tanker or something, it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah, it's a wrap. They're threatening to attack a lot of infrastructure too. A lot of Amazon data centers and all. They're threatening to do that again. There's a lot of AI infrastructure over there, guys, just in case you didn't know. And if all hell breaks loose, don't think that's off the target. They know how to hurt us. And attacking that infrastructure, all that accurate data, they're already knocked out all of our bases. So, I mean, it's getting really crazy. But with that being said, what you investing in? What you holding right now, bro?
Yeah, I'm just holding it. I mean, the XRP, all the blue chips. And then, I did get into Monad, and I just playing with this index. But I'm not really. I'm just pretty much sitting back and relaxing and wait.
Yeah, I'm heavy into infrastructure myself, and like you said, the index thing is, I love that. If I see anything else that walks like that, I'm gonna probably get involved with it. But with that being said, guys, just pay attention to the news cycle. Pay attention to Bitcoin metrics, the core metrics of Bitcoin. If you really want to know if the actual spike is real, if there's real movement, the Bitcoin network charts are going to tell you if it's real or not. So, and then watch the ETFs and watch on-chain activity, and don't buy the top. All right. We'll catch you guys later. Take it easy.